The autumn sun cast long shadows across the marble steps of the Franklin County Courthouse. Malik Johnson adjusted his crimson tie, smoothing it against his charcoal suit as he climbed the steps with purposeful strides. At 42, Malik carried himself with the quiet confidence earned through years of legal battles and hard-won victories. His briefcase, worn at the edges but still professional, contained documents for the Henderson case, a high-profile prosecution that had dominated local headlines for weeks. "Morning, Mr. Johnson," called out Patricia, a courthouse security guard who had known Malik for years. Malik nodded with a warm smile. "Beautiful day, Patricia. How's that grandson of yours doing in college?" Before she could answer, Malik noticed something unusual. Two men in dark suits stood near the metal detectors, their eyes tracking his movement with unusual intensity. Malik felt a familiar tightness in his chest, that sixth sense developed over decades of navigating spaces where his presence was often questioned. He took a deep breath, squared his shoulders, and continued forward. The Henderson case wouldn't win itself, and he had a job to do, regardless of whatever scrutiny awaited him at the courthouse entrance. "Excuse me, sir. I need to see some identification." The taller agent stepped directly into Malik's path, hand raised. His partner moved to block any side exit, creating a visible confrontation in the busy courthouse lobby. Malik stopped, maintaining his composure. "May I ask what this is about?" "FBI. Routine security check." The agent flashed his badge quickly, too quickly to read the name. "We need to verify your business here today." The second agent, with buzz-cut hair and a skeptical expression, looked Malik up and down. "That's an expensive suit for someone just visiting the courthouse. What exactly brings you here?" Malik noticed heads turning, conversations halting. Court staff, attorneys, and citizens all watching now. He'd experienced this before, the public questioning, the implied accusation in their tone rather than their words. "I'm an attorney with business before the court," Malik replied evenly, reaching for his bar card. "An attorney?" The first agent raised his eyebrows, doubt evident in his voice. "And which case would that be?" "We have reports of individuals impersonating legal counsel." Malik's jaw tightened. "The Henderson prosecution. I have all my credentials right here." "Sir, step aside please." The agent gestured toward a corner. "We'll need to verify everything. Thoroughly." A cold anger settled in Malik's stomach as he recognized what was happening. Not his first encounter with profiling, certainly, but no less infuriating in a place meant to represent justice. The courthouse lobby fell into an uncomfortable hush. Malik found himself corralled against the wall, briefcase open, papers being examined by gloved hands. His bar association card and driver's license lay on a nearby table, scrutinized under the harsh fluorescent lights. "These could be forgeries," muttered the buzz-cut agent, loud enough for nearby onlookers to hear. "Pretty good ones, I'll admit." Malik kept his voice steady despite the heat rising in his face. "Those documents are legitimate, as is my presence here. I'm due in courtroom 3 in 15 minutes. A young paralegal Malik recognized from the public defender's office approached, confusion on her face. "Mr. Johnson? Is everything okay?" "Step back, ma'am," ordered the taller agent. "This is official business." "But that's Malik Johnson," she protested. "Please move along," interrupted the agent firmly. Whispers rippled through the gathering crowd. Malik caught fragments. Who is he really? Must have done something. Why else would FBI? The buzz-cut agent pulled out his phone. "We're going to need to make some calls to verify these credentials. Could take a while." Malik checked his watch. "I have a case before Judge Watkins at 9. The Henderson prosecution. This delay could prejudice my client's rights." "Not our problem if you're running a scam," the agent replied dismissively. "Real attorneys know to arrive with proper time to spare." Malik fought to maintain his professional demeanor as years of similar indignities flashed through his mind. The security guard who followed him through department stores. The police officer who pulled him over for driving too carefully. And now this, in the very halls where he'd built his career defending the law. The commotion drew attention from the upper balcony. Judge Eleanor Rivera paused her conversation with a clerk, leaning over the railing. "What's happening down there?" she called, her authoritative voice cutting through the murmurs. The taller agent looked up. "Security matter, Your Honor. Nothing to concern yourself with." Judge Rivera's eyes narrowed as she recognized Malik. "Are you detaining the state attorney?" A ripple of shock passed through the crowd. The buzz-cut agent froze, phone still in hand. "State attorney," he repeated, voice suddenly uncertain. "State Attorney Malik Johnson," Judge Rivera affirmed. "Lead prosecutor on the Henderson case in my courtroom this morning." The taller agent's composure cracked. He glanced down at the ID card he'd been dismissing, then at Malik's calm face, recognition dawning with terrible clarity. "There must be some mistake," he stammered, quickly gathering Malik's documents. "We received reports of an imposter." "The only mistake," Malik said, taking back his credentials with deliberate slowness, "was your assumption about who belongs in this courthouse." His voice carried through the now silent lobby, measured and clear. "And who doesn't?" 3 days later, Malik sat across from FBI Director Marcus Reynolds in a conference room at the federal building. Between them lay a formal complaint file, security footage still frames, and handwritten statements from courthouse witnesses. "I've reviewed everything, Mr. Johnson," Director Reynolds said, closing the folder. "Agents Collier and Turner have been placed on administrative leave pending a full internal investigation. This incident represents a serious breach of protocol and judgment." Malik nodded, but didn't smile. "And what changes will prevent this from happening again? To someone without my title or connections? Someone who doesn't have a judge watching from above?" Reynolds shifted uncomfortably. "We're implementing mandatory sensitivity training across all field offices, reviewing our profiling guidelines, and establishing clearer protocols for courthouse security coordination." "Training and protocols aren't enough," Malik replied. "This is about accountability. Real consequences." The local news had already broken the story. Public pressure mounted as courthouse security footage leaked online, showing the confrontation in painful detail. Outside the building, protesters carried signs with Malik's words, "Who belongs?" "The agents will face disciplinary hearings," Reynolds assured him. "Their careers will never recover from this." "My concern isn't their careers," Malik countered. "It's justice. Equal treatment under the law. That day in the courthouse wasn't just about me, it was about the system that allowed it to happen." Director Reynolds looked Malik directly in the eyes. "What are you proposing, Mr. State Attorney?" 6 months later, Malik stood before a packed auditorium at the state's Criminal Justice Academy. Behind him, a large screen displayed the words, "Community Oversight Initiative, Building Trust Through Transparency." "Today marks the official launch of our independent review panel," Malik announced, voice strong and clear. "Composed of community members, legal experts, and law enforcement professionals working together to examine cases of potential profiling and bias." In the front row sat Judge Rivera, alongside several state representatives and community leaders. Director Reynolds nodded solemnly from his seat near the podium. "What happened to me was not unique," Malik continued. "But my position gave me a platform many others don't have. I refuse to let that platform go to waste." The initiative had already gained national attention. 3 neighboring states were developing similar programs based on Malik's framework. His phone rang constantly with requests for guidance and consultation. "Real change happens when accountability becomes part of the system, not just a response to public outcry," Malik explained. "When we recognize that justice isn't just about who's guilty, but about who's heard. Who's seen? Who belongs?" As the audience rose in applause, Malik caught sight of 2 figures slipping quietly into the back of the auditorium, the paralegal who had tried to intervene that day, now accompanied by a young black law student. They made eye contact across the room, and Malik gave them a subtle nod. One case. One moment. One chance to transform personal humiliation into lasting change. For Malik Johnson, state attorney, justice was no longer just his profession, it had become his mission.